Hi, everybody. It is I, Becca Lori Hector, here with Becca's Backyard Live. I am in a little bit of a shadow. Let's see if we can fix that a little bit. Not really, but good. We don't have a glare. Finally, you guys. Okay, so not as pretty the background over here because it's kind of like my driveway, and you can see behind this shoulder, you can see right over there. Oh, I'm right under it. That is our old 70s van in our mock garage right now because it's missing some sides. Not as pretty as the other view, but I am literally right next to, I'm touching the wall that has the modem on it. So hopefully this is as non-buffered as we're going to get. And it's a little chilly out today, a little bit windy, but I don't think that'll affect us this close to the house. But yeah, I'm really digging the outside thing. I know I talked about maybe bringing it inside, and I am sitting in the beanbag that I purchased, which is very, very, very comfortable to do videos from. So I feel a little bit more support groupy now that I'm in a more comfortable chair, because the other one is an Adirondack, and I slide back like this, and I feel like I'm talking to you guys with 7,000 double chins and all that kind of stuff. So in any case, my stuff over, I feel like this is a better spot for us. So let's see. Maybe I can get a little bit of light on myself. Okay, so anyways, you guys, here we are in the new spot. It is another week. It is the second week in May already, third even in May. Antonio's birthday is coming up, just so that you know. And not much else going on. It was a pretty quiet week this week. What I can tell you is that here in the States, you guys, this week was Mother's Day on Sunday. So today is Tuesday. So 2 days ago on Sunday, it was Mother's Day in the States. So to all of the moms in the U.S., autistic or mothers of autistics, happy Mother's Day, belated from me. It was it brought me around to deciding on what the topic for this week is going to be, is what it did. Holidays, especially those kind of holidays, like Hallmark holidays, fascinate me. They've always sort of irritated me my whole life because I always felt like it was a scam put together by, I don't know, Hallmark conglomerates. I don't know, but I just feel like the people are just trying to make money off of a day rather than it really having meaning other than what we subscribe to it. So anyway, it's one of those holidays for me, and that's how I feel about those holidays. But in any case, it is an opportunity to really look at the mothers in your life, the grandmothers, the female caregivers, really, because a lot of us put substitute people in places where we don't have great mentors, or the reality isn't quite so good. So those who play the role of mothers in our lives, and to really think about what that means, and have what that having that means. So I wanted to talk today. I know we've been kind of grooving on this whole support group thing, and I like it. I like it a lot. I'm hearing from you guys that we are doing a good thing. We like the support group kind of model. We like the topic that we're picking and choosing and going with places. And so I like that. I really like that. And this weekend's events had me thinking that I think today's topic, what I want to cover, because it keeps coming back, people keep asking me to talk some more about it, is alexithymia. So for those of you that don't know about alexithymia, I will talk about what it is a little bit, and then we'll talk more about how it affects me and how it may affect you and what we can do about it, kind of stuff. But before we get into that, heavy duty reminder, guys, if you are interested in finding out the what's next of self-defined living, if you saw the first webinar and you're hooked and you want to know what comes next, if you didn't see the first webinar but now you want to know what happened in the first webinar because everybody wants to know what's going on in Unit 1, you can go ahead to my website. You can head over to the My Webinars tab, and you can not only see the one that was out that you missed called Self-Defined Living, Creating a Life You Don't Need a Vacation From, but you can also register for Unit 1 of the major course, which is a 3-unit virtual course. Unit 1 is coming out first, OBS, and it is called Stepping Forward. It is the beginning of that journey to creating a quality autistic life for yourself. And so I hope you guys will be interested in checking that out. It's not just the webinar that you're getting. If you register, you also get You also get you get one group coaching call that I'll be doing. You get the 3 downloadable companion exercises as well as the video lecture. And then you get access to me at a discounted price for some one-on-ones if you choose to go that route. So it's not just a webinar, it's some other things too. If you choose to catch it live, it will be live on 6/10, so live on June 10th in the morning for me at 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, so you'll have to do the math on that. And I will be doing a half-hour Q&A with the live version if you want to wait for that. Or, of course, you can register now. It will drop on the 10th, and you can watch it at your leisure. So, yeah, head over to my website and take a look at that. If you're not yet registered for my newsletter, I highly recommend you do so, because the June issue will have a discount in it, losing my voice, for the Self-Defined Living Unit 1. So if you are not yet registered for the newsletter, monthly musings that I do for free, please head over to my website, which is beccalaurie.com, and you can sign up for the newsletter, which will in June have a discount for Unit 1. Hooray! Okay, that's enough talking about that BS, but if I don't do that stuff, I forget to talk about my stuff, and then you guys don't know what's happening, and that's not fun. So in any case, we continue. This week, we're going to talk about Alexithymia as a group. I know I'm not the only one out there. And for some reason, you guys, if you're also seeing it, I don't know, I'm seeing on my end that it's unable to connect to chat. So if you guys can't get into the chat right now, I understand. I can't either for some reason. So we'll see. But we'll see what happens here. But in any case, we're going to talk about Alexithymia. I know I have been asked about it multiple times. I've talked about it, I think, on Newsstand. I've talked about it maybe in here before. And I've definitely talked about it on Asking Spectrum Women, the little monthly Q&A I do for Spectrum Women magazine. But no matter how many times I talk about it, up it pops. And if I talk about it, people want to know more because it is so confusing. So what is alexithymia? Well, alexithymia is one of the common co-occurs that autistics have. It is kind of an inability to recognize and name or label your emotions. I always think about so many of our internally based challenges are based in our interoception issues. So based in our messed up system of communication between our bodies and our brains. And I really feel like alexithymia is just a piece of that interoception piece, right? And so that I'm not able to kind of process my emotions in real time necessarily. And also when I have them, I'm not necessarily able to piece them apart as to what they are exactly, or even what the source is necessarily of said emotion, which I cannot describe. And so as a child, it was frustrating, but of course, you know, people only assume as a child you have basic emotions, right? And so they're not looking for the little nuanced emotions in between when you're a kid. But also as a kid, and even as most of my life, I was an angry, kind of nasty, kind of down person. And so I didn't really experience a lot of the positive emotions very regularly, which is sad, but it makes those ones much more difficult for me to recognize. So anger, which is something that is so easy for me to recognize because I feel it all the time. And I definitely spent the first half of my lifetime, for sure, oh, puppies are barking, for sure, kind of just lost in the anger of it all, and really able to recognize that one for whatever reason. That's just the story of my life, the way that it went down. So I talk about that a lot. That's an easy one for me to recognize. I've had a lot of experience with it. I know kind of what it feels like. It's easier for me to recognize. But then there are smaller, more gray area emotions, like frustrated or irritated or annoyed. And of course, those are part of anger. They kind of are in that family, but they're like a nuanced piece of anger. They're like a gray area of that emotion. See, I struggle. I really do. I struggle. And even explaining it to you guys. So, and those are the ones I have a hardship with. The ones that are more subtle, that maybe don't come on like a big giant wave, the way a meltdown does, or the way being really angry does, or really sad, right? Happy, sad, angry, basics I can do pretty easily, but the ones in between really, really a struggle. So the reason I thought so much about alexithymia this weekend is because I was having a bout with it. And so it gave me a really good opportunity. I have like cat hairs in my mouth or something. I don't know. They're probably all over my hoodie, which is why they're in my mouth currently. But so be it. Cat hair don't care, right? In any case, so I was struggling with it this weekend. So like I said, it was Mother's Day this weekend in the States on Sunday. And as you guys know, I've talked about it a few times. My mother has passed. She passed almost 6 years ago already, 5-6 years ago. It's uncomfortable and it's painful, but and there are days when it's worse than others. I certainly think about her every single day, and I work with the struggle of it every single day. But there are days when the loss of her, when the grief is really close to the surface and really painful and really uncomfortable, because I don't like expressing my emotions in front of people because I'm so uncomfortable with them myself. I guess it makes me even more uncomfortable to be I guess experiencing that discomfort in front of other people. So I really have always tried to my whole life to really control that piece. And now as I'm stepping into my authentic self and really living this life that I've created, I'm trying not to be as not to have so many walls up, I guess is really the better way to say it. Not to protect myself from the what ifs of how I might feel or how other people might make me feel and all of that stuff. So in doing that, it means I have to be a little bit more open to my emotions and kind of learning to recognize them. So I'm working with words and emotions all the time in my life whenever I find a trigger one. And so this Sunday, as expected, was an incredibly uncomfortable day for me. Of course, not having your mom on Mother's Day is painful. It's then kind of magnified by everybody else wishing everybody else's mother happy Mother's Day, and any kind of celebrations that you might have to do for the mothers who are still alive and around and in your life, right? And so you have to do those things, and it's on TV, it's on the internet, it's everywhere, it's just in your face. And so it for someone like me who's really struggling with a day like that, it's hard to make it through the day without feeling these really heavy duty emotions. Okay, well, fine and well, except that I also have alexithymia, which means feeling those emotions, recognizing them, putting them in the right place where they belong, and not putting them on somebody else or into another scenario that they don't belong, is something that I also struggle with as part of alexithymia. It's not placing them in the wrong spot either, or putting them on someone where they don't belong. So there was a lot of holding in stuff on Sunday. I didn't realize it. Of course, I was home with Antonio. We did have to call his mom, of course, for Mother's Day, and my mother-in-law, and do that. And we went to a few stores and people wished happy Mother's Day, whatever. And so it was just around. But I didn't want to be a messy ball of tears the entire day. That's not how I wanted to spend my day. So I sort of knew it was there, but I let my alexithymia be a strength for the day, and I kind of ignored it a little bit. And what happened is that yesterday, on Monday, when everyone was done doing all of the wishing and everyone was done with it all being all over the internet, I finally started to feel it all. And so yesterday, I was exhausted. I was exhausted. I was depressed. I had no motivation. I was just, and on top of it, it was rainy out. And it's still kind of overcast today, but yesterday it was actual rainy and cold. And I felt like that inside, and it looked like that outside, and I was all cranky and that word, because of course I don't have a word emotion for that yet. I'll find it. But I was feeling like that, and I thought, well, holy crap. Well, I can't fucking believe it. This is the emotion from yesterday. So that's the other funny thing about alexithymia, is that sometimes it delays your emotions. It's like they're there, they come, you should feel them, but your brain can't quite cope with them in the moment, and so it pushes them away. And then when you are in a quieter space where you're not as overwhelmed, it seems to just arrive. And which makes for occasions of tears out of nowhere that I don't understand or recognize sadness out of nowhere, things like that. But yesterday I had this like giant like this is it. This is the moment I should be paying attention to for you guys so that I can share what alexithymia is like in the real moment, in the real then. So while I was just fine and well all day Sunday, Monday came and it all hit me like a giant wave. I mean, I was drowning in it yesterday, and I had to talk myself through a lot of negative self-talk, and I had to work through that it's okay to not be productive for a day if your body needs to rest, and all the things that I tell you guys so desperately. I had to tell myself it, give myself my own advice yesterday. And as I was processing through it, all I could think about was, Beck, remember as much of this as you can so you can tell everybody tomorrow we'll talk alexithymia. So that's what we're doing. I'm talking about it with you guys today because I literally struggled with it yesterday. And so when I talk about how we're sharing our struggles and we're sharing our supports and we're sharing our experiences and how we get in and out of them and all of that, I'm doing that with you live in my meanness too. I'm not just, trying to sit on a soapbox and kind of be like, I know what it's like because I've been there. No, I know what it's like because I am there. I'm still there with you guys in this journey, maybe in a different place, but I'm still walking the path. And so yesterday was a real struggle with alexithymia, and I wanted to share with you what it was like to kind of have that hit me, and have to recognize that those emotions were coming from yesterday, that they were coming from the day before. They weren't in the present moment. So it was important not to assign what was going on in the present moment, this sadness, right? Not to assign it to my life or myself or to Antonio or to anything else going on, or my mother-in-law or any of that stuff, right? Because it had nothing to do with any of those things. It was just my emotions that couldn't process in the real time, processing later. And in that moment, I was then interoceptively aware that I was having feelings where I wasn't aware of that before. And so that was an interesting piece. And so what I had to wonder is, I wonder how much in my life, and this is the key, this is the apex, the climax, I hope you're paying attention. I said to myself, is alexithymia like a coping mechanism that kicks in when everything's too big, like when the emotions are too big, too complicated, too complex, and yet at the same time you must continue to function? So in that way, does alexithymia act as a strength for me, and does it come in and sort of oh, sunshine, sunshine, yay, come in and just say, I'm taking away the emotion for right now. We can't handle it and process it right now. Is that a piece of the alexithymia? Is that where it comes from? Because I know when I feel anger and I feel the negative emotions, I feel super grounded. I feel really in the moment, in the present, while I'm feeling those things. And it often feels to me like happiness and joy, and those bigger ones to me, the ones I'm less familiar with, almost stress me out more because I'm less familiar with them. I don't know how to cope with them. And in those moments, I almost feel like alexithymia kicks in and almost deprives me of some of that joy. So I'm going to do some more thinking about all of this. I'm in pensive mode, I guess, about this topic, but it was so right and so just right on the tip of my tongue, and just so right and real and alive in my life right now, that I wanted to share it with you guys, because I know you're always asking for more, and so I want more back, and I want to ask in return, can you guys share with me? I know chat's not working, so in the comments or wherever you decide to have a conversation with me, if you email me directly, let me know what your experiences are with alexithymia, if you have it, or if you know someone who does, how they process it, how they figure it into their lives, and kind of what it is, how they experience it, how you experience it. I want to hear from you guys, because of course when I'm doing these things and I'm collecting data for you guys, I'm always hoping that you'll learn something from it and we'll all feel a little bit less alone. And so maybe somebody will experience alexithymia the way you do and differently from the way I do, but Lord knows we could all use some education in this piece, since we're all just in search of information for it. Yeah, so that's the topic for today. That's alexithymia. I am like half in sun. I feel like, oh, that's good. Oh, that's very dramatic. I'm going to end here in this very dramatic lighting. I think that's where I want to leave it for you guys in terms of alexithymia, in terms of processing your emotions, struggling with that process, the part that interoception plays in all of that, and maybe, you know, looking at it as a possible coping mechanism. Is it a positive in our lives at some places and times, and not necessarily just a burden? I have puppies barking. They are ready to play. So that takes us to about 20 minutes or so. And I hope you guys have gotten something out of the alexithymia conversation. I'm sure I'll have more to add. Maybe I'll write a piece about it. But I think it's important that we talk about it. And I think it's important that we find a place for it in our lives, those of us that struggle with it, and come to terms with it. So that's where I am in my process of understanding my alexithymia and my experience with it. And I hope it inspires you guys to go ahead and kind of experiment with yours. All right, well, until next Tuesday, it is I, Becca Lori Hector, here with Becca's Backyard Live. And I will see you on this Friday for Neurodiversity Newsstand, our Neurodiversity News wrap-up show right here on this YouTube channel. And as always, I will be live next Tuesday at this same time, 2:20 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Oh, rude truck, Justin, I'm doing my closing and the rude truck. Look, I'm going to glare. Okay, I'm done glaring. So if you haven't signed up for the newsletter, head over to the website and sign up for the newsletter. If you are considering signing up for Unit 1, please go ahead and do so. If you sign up and discounts come out, I promise to honor them for you, but don't lose your spot. I would love to see you for Unit 1 of Self-Defined Living. I would love to see you on the newsletter list. And I would love to see you all around social media. So comment wherever you see this video. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it, a thumbs down if you didn't. By all means, subscribe to the channel so you get notifications when things come out. And of course, don't forget that you can always email me directly at info@beccalori.com, or just head to the website beccalori.com. That's with a Y. And you can head to my contact page, which will email me directly. I hope to hear from you guys on this one. I hope you liked this topic. Not sure what we're going to talk about next week, but it'll be one of these really good, juicy topics. We'll see if we can't tackle something like, I don't know, anxiety or eating disorders or depression or let's see what else, pathological demand avoidance, things like that, or even basic things like sensory overload. Anything you want to talk about, let me know in the comments, or of course email me directly. I am leaving you with my dramatic lighting. I think that next week I am going to have to face a different way maybe, but let me know if the buffering was better this time, because I'm super close to the modem and that's the best I can do. All right, you guys, have an amazing rest of your week. I will see you on Friday with Neurodiversity Newsstand, and next Tuesday for this. Have a good one, you guys. Bye.